Hello, good morning. I'm Rajiv and you are watching Aapki Khabar. And as you know, Aapki Khabar, with the collaboration of Women with Wings, we brings a series of women's empowerment. And in this series today, we have two guests, our two panelists, Devjani Roy ma'am and Paromita Chattopadhyay ji. And we will discuss here about the women's empowerment. And they are not only the guests, more than 25 years, 20 years experiences behind them. So now we are starting here. Women with Wings is an energy group on a relentless mission to empower women across the globe by sharing, collaborating, and supporting their endeavors. Each member of the group is precious and draws inspiration, power, and strength from each other. Every sunrise brings inspiration and drives to start something new, touch lives, and makes a difference. Women with Wings has been consistent in its effort to foster the beginning of a renaissance where a woman is behind the success of another woman. All the initiatives are honest and intend to reach out and stand up for those women who to needed the support or that nudge to take the leap of faith has today resulted in a community of strong, resilient, and empowered women. Devjani Rai, ma'am, the Bengal tigress, a glint in the eye, a spirit so high, vibrant and smiling as you are looking her on face, and never say die. She is the brain and heart behind Twilight Talks and is the effervescent hostess of the show. And next guest is Ms. Paromita Chattopadhyay, the first speaker of Twilight Talks, is a marketing professional turned educator, and presently an assiduous L&D professional who is passionate about transforming lives. She is a certified trainer with 15 years of experience in playing myriad roles in the education domain. She volunteers for several NGOs and the intent to contribute the make a small difference. She is a proficient cook, singer, and poetess with a penchant for travel. Now we move to our question. Uh, we have आपकी खबर viewers would like to know from both of you, ma'am, where do you draw your strength from? And I think first Devjani Rai, ma'am, will speak in this.
I honestly draw my strength from the universe. Rajiv ji, every element in life, inanimate as well as animate, एक वृक्ष की पत्ती से भी हम अपना मोटिवेशन जुगाड़ कर सकते हैं. जब पहली दफा रेन्स होती हैं, when the first drops of rain come, and जो भीगी एक एक बहुत बहुत सुंदर खुशबू मिट्टी से निकलती है, हम तो उससे भी मोटिवेशन गैदर करते हैं. So for me, every single morning brings with it different essences, and I draw my strength from every one of that. And now to Paramita.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv, and what a beautiful answer that Devjani has given. I think for me, to continue from where Devjani left off, yes, the entire universe is actually a motivation, but I think I draw a lot of strength from my family, be it my mother, my father, my children, my husband, and my close friends. I think they are my strength because I know come what may, the highs or the lows, they are my best critic and also my most effervescent cheerleaders. So I think that is where I draw the strength from, and I get the courage to go out and try anything in the world because I know they will scaffold me no matter what. So I think that is the place from where I actually draw my strength.
Very good. Now, ma'am, Johnny, ma'am, what is your take on facing adversity?
राजीव जी, लाइफ इज full of steps. कभी चढ़ना होता है, कभी उतरना होता है. If you think that every time you will always be climbing steps and you will go high and high, I think that is a dream which nobody can actually experience throughout life. एक बार जिसने चढ़ा उसको उतरना जरूरी होता है. And those cyclical troughs and balances and peaks is what life is all about. मेरे लिए भी वही है, संघर्षपूर्ण रहा है. There have been places, there have been times when I have wonderfully loved being where I am. I've seen the best in life, including many Great Wall of China. I actually have climbed the highest peak of Great Wall of China, जहां मुझे एक सोने की मेडल भी दी गई थी, okay, as a war hero. So बहुत कुछ महसूस किया है. There have been experiences galore, but at the same time, जब उतरे संघर्ष बहुत रही. So it is part of life. There is no running away from it. अगर एक बार मन बना ले कि जिस तरीके से सक्सेस को एंजॉय करना होता है, उसी तरीके से जब नीचे जाना होता है तब भी अपने मन को ठान ले कि वहां से निकलना होगा, तो साथ ही साथ अपने मन के अंदर वो करेज आ जाती है. That is also my message to everybody, that like you love being excited by your success, you should also be clear that there will be times when you have to struggle, and that is as much a part of life. Paramita, all yours.
Thanks so much, Devjani. I think that was very, very inspirational. And like Devjani said, I too believe that every adversity is actually an opportunity in disguise. अगर हम उसे इस तरह से माने कि ये इसलिए हम पर आया है ताकि हम इससे और सशक्त होकर निकले, तो फिर हम इसे संघर्षपूर्ण पार कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि संघर्ष तो जीवन का एक अंग है जिससे आप खुद को अलहदा नहीं कर सकते. इसीलिए it's very, very important that you take on every adversity and try and take the learning out of it. If we are always going to say, oh God, मेरे ही साथ हमेशा ऐसा क्यों होता है, जब वो संघर्ष खत्म हो जाएगा, जब उससे लड़ेंगे और आप उसमें उत्तीर्ण हो जाएंगे, चाहे उसमें सक्सेस मिले या फेलियर मिले, पर आपको उससे लर्निंग जरूर मिलेगी. So I completely believe that whether you win or you lose, you always learn. So I don't see opportunity, I don't see adversity just like an adversity. I see it more as an opportunity. और जिंदगी में बहुत सारे उतार चढ़ाव देखे हैं, और इसीलिए मैं कह सकती हूँ कि हर उतार में मैंने ज्यादा सीखा है और चढ़ाई में कम. So I kind of enjoy that adversity now. So yes, it does take a lot of strength, not just your inner core strength, but the strength from the people around you to be able to draw yourself out of it.
बहुत अच्छा, आपने इतनी अच्छी तरीके से एक्सप्लेन किया है. और sometimes we want to do something, but unfortunately we can't do that. And next question is, are internal barriers more daunting than external barriers?
Rajiv ji, a wonderful question. I think this is a very relevant question, especially आज के दौर में. पहले things were very normal. I think हमारी जिंदगी एक दिशा में चल रही थी, सबकी जिंदगी एक दिशा में चल रही थी. सुबह उठते थे, काम पे जाते थे, घर देखते थे, घर में हंसी खुशी, कभी थोड़ा रोना, अभिमान, सब कुछ चलता था. And then came the pandemic, and then came COVID-19. जो दिखता नहीं था, इट वाज समथिंग व्हिच वाज नॉट विजिबल, बट इतना भारी इम्पैक्ट रहा उसकी हमारी जिंदगी पे कि फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम यू फेल्ट दैट आप पिंजरे के अंदर बंद हो गए हैं. अब पिंजरे से आप बाहर भी जाते हैं तो अपना चेहरा ढक के जाना पड़ता है, वो चेहरा आप किसी को दिखा नहीं सकते हैं. ओके, अब कहीं कहीं जाके एकदम राजी खुशी, यू वांट टू एंजॉय अ मूवी, यू वांट टू एंजॉय अ गैदरिंग, इट वाज नॉट टू बी. जिंदगी की धारा ही बदल चुकी थी. उस हालत में आई डोंट थिंक द एक्सटर्नल थ्रेट, कोविड-19 की थ्रेट उतना भारी नहीं था जो हमारी अंदरूनी अंदर वाली थ्रेट थी कि डिप्रेशन, मेंटल वेलबीइंग, एक पागलपन, एक अजीब सी एक अजीब सी जैसे सुकून चला गया था अपने लाइफ से. It was all about feeling completely neglected, boxed up, cut off from the rest of the world. At least मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा था कि अपनी जिंदगी में, इस लाइफ टाइम में ऐसी चीज भी महसूस होगी. So it is right. Today is the time when internal threat को डील करना बहुत जरूरी है. Because जब मन में स्ट्रेंथ होगा तभी आप हर किसी चढ़ाई को चढ़ पाएंगे, तभी आप हर किसी बाधा को उससे उत्तीर्ण हो पाएंगे. So Absolutely right. It is not so much about external strength, it is a combination of both. Like Paramita had also said, support from everybody around you as well as your own mental strength. इसी को लेके हमें आगे चलना पड़ेगा. Thank you.
वेरी वेल सेड देवजानी एंड राजीव जी मैं भी कंप्लीटली ये बात मानती हूँ कि बाहर जितनी बाधा हो एक्सटर्नल बैरियर्स आर वे इजियर टू टैकल इट्स ऑलवेज मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स इट्स आर इंटरनल बैरियर्स इट इज आर सेल्फ लिमिटिंग बिलीव्स or it is our probably conditioning which does not allow us to rise above all of that and come out stronger. So if we are able to overcome the internal barriers first, fortify ourselves first, and then only we will be able to battle the challenges which is outside. So in a way, if you say that internal challenges are more daunting, I would agree. But yes, with being mindful about what you want, living in the now, and facing every challenge as if it is going to be a learning for you will help us in battling the external barriers. So yes, अपने आप पे पहले पूरी तरह से नियंत्रण पाना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर अंदर इन नियंत्रण होगा तो बाहर का नियंत्रण मैनेज करना इजी हो जाता है.
देखिए बहुत अच्छा. तो सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि सक्सेस तो सभी को चाहिए, सारे लोग चाहते हैं कि उनको सक्सेस मिले, लेकिन अगर कुछ करना चाहते हैं उसी बीच में अगर कहीं थोड़ा सा भी कुछ भी एडवर्स आता है तो वहीं से वो टूट के बैक हो जाते हैं और उसी को जो पार कर जाते हैं उन्हीं को सक्सेस मिलती है. और आपकी खबर के व्यूअर्स को मैं बताना चाहूंगा कि इस समय हमारे पैनल पे जो भी दिख रहे हैं उन्होंने करके दिखाया है. देवजानी रॉय मैम, मोर देन 25 years ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, बहुत कुछ किया है उन्होंने, अभी भी कर रही हैं. लोग होता क्या है, एक स्टेज ही आने के बाद में होता कि बहुत कर लिया भाई, अब नहीं करना है. पारुमिता चट्टोपाध्याय जी हैं, आप देख रहे कि किस तरीके से उन्होंने एक्सप्लेन किया है. ये ऐसे लोग हैं, मैं बार बार आपकी खबर के व्यूअर्स को इसलिए बता रहा हूं क्योंकि उनके फोन मैसेजेस मेरे पास में आते हैं कि आपके पैनल में जो लोग आ रहे हैं एचआर पर, आप लोग ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेस के उस पे, तो मोस्टली जो लोग उस फील्ड के नहीं हैं वो नहीं समझ पाते थे. मेरे ख्याल से आप लोगों ने जिस तरीके से आज एक्सप्लेन किया है ये सभी के लिए जरूरी है डे टू डे लाइफ पे, हाउ टू टेक द चैलेंजेस एंड हाउ टू ओवरकम द स्ट्रेस एंड हाउ टू बिल्ड अप द ओवरऑल पर्सनालिटी. एंड आई थिंक दिस इज द बेस्ट प्लेटफॉर्म and we have very good and very enriched panelists. And next, I will move to Devjani Roy ma'am to continue this talk.
Thank you, Rajiv ji. A quick fire round for you, Paramita. Does adversity mean the end of the road or the start of a new one?
Well, I would look at it as the latter half. I truly believe that it is the start of a new road because whenever there is a roadblock, my mother, when I was very little, she always said, knock at every door. You never know which door is waiting to be opened. Yes. So that's why I believe that every end of the road is actually the beginning of a new road. And having seen, a fatal condition so closely and having got this another fresh lease of life, I completely believe that at every end, there is a very beautiful fresh beginning waiting for us to take over.
फैंटास्टिक. एंड मेरे ख्याल से राजीव जी और आपके सभी लोग जो सुन रहे हैं वो भी समझ पाएंगे बिकॉज हमारी संस्कृति में ये कहते हैं कि दरवाजा खटखटाना बहुत जरूरी है. बिकॉज कौन सी दरवाजा आपके लिए इंतजार कर रही है वो आपको पता नहीं है जब तक आप ना खटखटाए. सो राइटली सेड बाय पारोमिता, यू हैव टू नॉक ऑन द डोर्स. वेदर इट गोइंग टू ओपन और नॉट इज अ मैटर ऑफ डेस्टिनी, बट यू डोंट हैव टू स्टॉप ट्राइंग फॉर इट. थैंक यू पारोमिता. Next one for you. What has been your defining moments in your life? I know you've gone through a lot, my dear, and yet in brief, if you could share it with us viewers.
So they say that there are certain defining moments in your life, and by God's grace, I must say that I have seen quite a few. I think one such defining moment was being born in a family where I was constantly encouraged to, see dreams which were my own and follow dreams and do that bravely and fearlessly without having to worry about what others thought about it. So I think that was one defining moment, getting a family which was so supportive. The second defining moment was when I became a mother. I think that truly changed the course of my life. I thought there was a life before motherhood and there is a life after motherhood. The kind of enrichment I have seen. So they say that a child gives birth to a mother, and rightfully so. The immense growth that I have seen in myself in terms of patience, resilience, innovation, creativity that has come from motherhood is amazing. So I think that has been completely a defining moment. And to conclude, I think getting this new lease of life after having such a severe brain hemorrhage, and wherein no one could guarantee whether I would make through and whether I would see the next day, and still being alive today to share my story and my viewpoints with all of you, I think that clearly was an indication that God had something more in store for me. So pretty much defining moments in which I realized the only fact about life is that it changes in a moment, and you should be ready for that change.
And amen to that. More power to you, my dear. And I completely agree with you when you say that motherhood is a central part of being a woman. It brings about changes like nothing before. I'm not sure how old your children are, लेकिन राजीव जी मेरी 20 साल की बेटी वो मुझे दोबारा जिंदगी जीने की तरीके सिखा रही हैं. So one thing is जब जन्म लेते हैं बच्चे तब हमारी जिंदगी बदल जाती है. Motherhood is a new. जब बड़े हो जाते हैं it is another experience altogether. But end of all, हम जीना नहीं भूलते, हम जीते रहते हैं. We keep inventing new ways of living life.
That's true.
ये लाइन आपकी बहुत अच्छी है, बहुत अच्छी, बहुत ही बढ़िया आपने बात कही कि जीना नहीं भूलना है, हौसला नहीं तोड़ना है अपना, लगातार लड़ते जाना है, काम करते जाना है. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Paramita, a lot of people are finding it difficult to come out of these difficult times. So my quick question to you, what would you say are the 3 traits that are imperative, that are very, very important for people to imbibe in order to break through these stressful moments?
There are a lot of skills that are required, or traits which are required to be able to combat any kind of adversity. But I think 3 key essential things which I can speak from my experiences. One is the faith in the Almighty. Never lose faith, no matter how difficult the time. हमेशा इस पे भरोसा रखिए कि कोई आपकी रखवाली कर रहा है. Because they say faith can move mountains. So if you keep that faith, there will definitely be a new dawn. That, like we say, the twilight is waiting for us. So I think keeping faith in the Almighty or in the superpower, no matter what name you give it, you know that there is a superpower above us. So faith in that is definitely one thing. Secondly is the belief in your own self. That is very, very important. If you keep belief in your own self, in the goodness that is there around you, that will keep you going, and that will ensure that you overcome no matter how difficult the situation is. It is up to you. If you see the good in everything, good will come back to you. The laws of attraction. If you see bad in everything, bad will come back to you. So if you have the belief in yourself and in the goodness around you, that will keep you going. And third and most important, I think, is diligence and hard work. Do not lose focus. Keep your focus on what you want to achieve. And no matter what, you might fail, you might crumble and fall, rise back again. Don't give up. So keep that persistent spirit and persistent effort. And I don't see that any challenge, no matter how daunting, cannot be overcome. This is what I feel is from personal experience, but I think more or less everybody is going through that. And if we can keep these 3 things, that is faith, belief, and hard work and persistence, we should be able to make through no matter what.
Again, amen to that. And last but not the least, Rajiv ji, हमारी अंतिम प्रश्न पारोमिता जी के लिए, who or what has been your most defining inspiration in life?
Well, life itself, I think, is a big inspiration and the biggest teacher. But I think to a great extent, my mother has been that defining person who has inspired me. She has been like that scaffold, that invisible scaffold who's always there, who's constantly encouraging me, critiquing me, So it's very rare that she's in that form where she's praising me. So she's always in the form of a critique. ये अच्छा हुआ बेटा, पर ये हो सकता था. ऐसा किया, बहुत अच्छा किया, पर आप इतना कर सकते थे. So the constant nudge, that you can do better. And there was never a comparison with anybody else. She said, just better yourself. Be a better version of yourself. So that constant nudge to better myself each day, I think that has been my biggest inspiration. So I definitely owe this to my mother. She has been the biggest influence and the biggest inspiration. But like you rightfully said, animate or inanimate, everything in this world is an inspiration. I draw inspiration from the paintings my daughter does. I draw inspiration from the rain. I draw inspiration from the bird who's sitting on the tree. So I think you draw inspiration from everything around you if you keep your eyes, ears, and everything open and are receptive to it. So inspiration is everywhere. You just have to reach out and grab it.
Absolutely, my dear. And I'd also like to answer that question. मेरे लिए हर वो व्यक्ति जो विकलांग है, जिसके पास वो पावर नहीं है, वो शख्सियत नहीं है, वो सोसाइटी में अंडर प्रिविलेज कहा जाता है, हैंडीकैप्ड कहा जाता है, व्हेन आई लुक एट देम आई ड्रॉ द बिगेस्ट इंस्पिरेशन. जब मैं ऐसे आई जस्ट कीप वॉकिंग डाउन द स्ट्रीट, समटाइम्स आई फील कोई बेगर आ जाती है एट अ रोड स्टॉप एंड वो देख नहीं पाती हैं. The first thing that goes out of my mind is how privileged I am that God has given me all the limbs and I can live through life आंखों देखी. Because अगर 2 मिनट के लिए भी मैं अपनी आंखें बंद कर लूं तो मुझे लगता है मैं इतनी darkness, how can I ever handle it? So every time, everybody who I meet who's a handicapped person or is not able to lead life the way we lead life, that's a matter of inspiration to me. लेकिन अगर एक symbolic, अगर किसी को मानना जरूरी है जिससे मैं बहुत प्रेरित हुई हूं अपनी लाइफ टाइम में, that would be Mother Teresa. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of our question round. Over to you, Rajiv ji.
मेरी आवाज आप लोगों को आ रही है क्या?
एकदम आ रही है
जी राजीव जी, सुनाई दे रही है.
एक आपकी खबर के व्यूवर अर्पित श्रीवास्तव ने एक क्वेश्चन आप लोगों से जानना चाहे. मेरे ख्याल से आप लोग स्क्रीन पर देख पा रहे होंगे.
हाँ, देख पा रहे हैं.
If you can give example of difficult situation and how you come out of it, it will be helpful to understand the perspective. This is the question from Arpit Srivastava from both of you, ma'am.
Thank you, Arpit, for the question. I will request Paromita to first go for it, please.
Thanks, Devjani. Arpit, thank you for that question. Since we are talking about Twilight Talks here, I'd like to take reference to that particular defining moment in my life, wherein all of a sudden, without having any, prior medical condition, I suddenly suffered a brain hemorrhage while I was at work. So the situation was so critical that they were not able to say whether I would make it, whether I would see the light of the day the following day. And in that condition, because I don't have immediate, barring my husband and my children, I don't have any family here. So I think that made it very difficult for us to take a call, because whichever way, whether we wanted to go in for a surgery or we wanted to wait it out, it was a difficult decision to take, because it was like walking on the sword. There was, whichever way you walk, there might be some repercussions to it. So we had to take a decision basis between me and my husband. We had to take a call, and we just decided that no matter what, or no matter how, what are going to be the repercussions of this decision, we just prayed to God, and with that faith, we went ahead with an interventional surgery, which required a lot of finesse and a lot of, probably patience to see whether it would be successful in implanting the stent in the brain to cover the hemorrhage or to seal the hemorrhage. And that was a decision that we had to take at that point of time, but we weren't sure whether it would be, because the success rate is not really guaranteed by the doctors. So it was a difficult decision to take. And for me, it was about praying every single moment of the day to ensure that I come out stronger from this and I'm able to come back to my family and friends. So I think I prayed, I stayed resilient. I stayed positive in that. I supported the doctor with every which way that I could, because he said a positive frame of mind from my end was imperative for him to be able to go ahead with the surgery, and then for me to be able to manage with that foreign object in my body. So I think keeping that way, the prayers that came from everyone, and that grit and determination to overcome that situation with the help of family and friends, was one very difficult moment. Not one moment, actually, it was a period of 3 weeks that the struggle carried on till finally I was declared to be good to go. So this is an example of how one can, with their personal core strength, uh, overcome a difficulty, or a situation which is that grave. So I have touched that close and come back.
I will narrate a story which is very very personal. मैंने शायद कभी आज तक किसी से ये शेयर नहीं की है, बट इमेजिन अब राजीव जी ने पूछा है तो बताना तो पड़ेगा. अर्पित ने पूछा है. This was about 8 months after my marriage, and the year was 2001. I was 3 months pregnant by that time. We were traveling to Haridwar. The first time after marriage, pilgrimage with my mother-in-law and father-in-law. So we were in a car, four of us, my husband, myself, my parent-in-laws, and the driver. And just as we were about to enter Haridwar, we suddenly decided that हम हरिद्वार में नहीं रहते, हम ऋषिकेश में रहते हैं. And सुबह सुबह हम आके फिर हरिद्वार में गंगा नहाएंगे या जो भी करना होगा पूजा पाठ, we will do that because Rishikesh has better places to stay. Now, there is a 14-kilometer jungle between Haridwar and Rishikesh. This is for those who are aware of that road. And just at the start of the jungle, there is a police barricade, a UP police barricade. We crossed that barricade and we started down that road. We were not well informed. It was only 8:30 in the night. Suddenly, a huge jeep with about 8-9 people came crashing in front of our car, drove our car off the road into a backtrack, into a absolutely rubble road inside the jungle, just at the start of the jungle. And around 6 men came out with what is called a katta, those desi revolvers. All the 6 of them came. They banged open our car. The doors were opened up. The first thing they did was to break the shoulder bone of my driver and hauled him out of the car. The next thing they did was frisking my parent-in-laws. They knew that these were old people, but yet they started frisking them. And they drew them out of the car also and made them sit on the grass. And then the third thing was they held a katta on my husband's forehead. And they kept telling me, Jo bhi hai, de de. So I told them, आप जो भी है, जितना है, आप please ले लीजिए, लेकिन इसको छोड़ दीजिए. Number one, I have only been married for 8 months, and उससे भी बड़ी चीज है, I am bearing a child. अगर आप कुछ भी करें, and there was one of those guys who did not have a good intention, because all the time he was trying to pull me into the jungle, into the darkness. And later I found out that that was a very clear case where they would rape and they would murder and they would leave you by the side. Just about 8 weeks back, a German couple had also faced the same thing. And no conclusion comes out of these cases because police don't even bother to look into these matters. They are all cohorts. They're all in cohorts. They're all hand in hand. So I pleaded. I did not cry. I did not show it that I was vulnerable to cry, but I fell to the floor and I said, आप कुछ कर लीजिए, जो कर लीजिए करिए, आप गाड़ी ले लीजिए, सब कुछ ले लीजिए, पर इसको छोड़ दीजिए. It's only a question of a life. As it is, you will not gain anything by taking my parents-in-laws. They are so old. They're 70 plus, 80 plus. But the least you can do is to at least give me a life back. आप जितना चाहो ले लो. I don't know what happened, but 2 of those boys, those 6 people, their age group was anything between 18 to 24. They were young boys with, the gamcha around their head and with the kattas in hand. So 2 of them suddenly looked at me with very weird eyes. And one of them came and actually threw the other person down who was trying to pull me into the jungle. And he said, Jitna hai, de rahi hai na? I said, you take it. I was just, 8 months married. So I was wearing a lot of jewelry. It's not auspicious before 1 year to take off that jewelry. So all my marital jewelry, jo Ashirvad ke taur pe dete the, dono gharon se, I don't have that today. But what I have is the life of my husband back. What they did was take out the tire ka hawa, and they left us over there and said, "Jo bhi ho, police ke paas mat jana." When they left us finally, there was a half an hour period where there was a blackness, there was a blackout. I don't think we could muster courage to do anything. But then finally, my husband and me, we mustered courage. We sort of started waving. There were buses which were plying. They were looking at us but not doing anything. बट बड़ी मुश्किल से एक मिन्नतें करके 2-3 गाड़ियों को रोक के finally we made it back. We made it back to Delhi. We did not stop anywhere else. So that was a defining moment of my life. There have been many instances, but I thought this is one where I stared at death and the most ultimate humiliation of a woman's life right into the face. And at least with the kind of courage that I had internally, I could come out of it. Thank you.
Very brave.
हेलो, कुछ टेक्निकल रीजन की वजह से मुझे आप लोगों की आवाज बहुत ही क्लियर नहीं आ रही थी, लेकिन मुझे जो इंडिकेशन दिख रहे हैं कि मैम ने अपनी बात कह दी है। मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है कि जो व्यूअर्स हैं आपकी खबर के, उनकी रेंज बढ़ रही। जो पहले एचआर फील्ड से ही लोग जुड़ते थे और उनसे ही मतलब होता था, लेकिन आज वो अचीवर्स के साथ में जुड़ रहे हैं, जिन्होंने स्ट्रगल किया है, जिन्होंने समझा है, चीजों को किया है। मुझे बहुत लोग मिलते हैं पैंडेमिक के बाद में, वो कहते हैं कि सब कुछ चला गया, मेरा बहुत अच्छा काम था और वो खत्म हो गया, ऐसा हो गया। लेकिन बहुत कम ही लोग ऐसे मिलते हैं जिन्होंने फिर से स्टैंड किया है और फिर से चीजों को किया है। उनको सीखने की जरूरत आप लोगों से है कि इससे ज्यादा और आपके साथ में एडवर्स कुछ भी नहीं हुआ होगा, या हुआ भी है तो चांसेस हैं कि आप ओवरकम कर सकते हैं। चीजों को सीखिए और जैसा कि बताया गया, फेथ रखिए। पारोमिता मैम ने बोला फेथ रखिए, फेथ इन योरसेल्फ। और ऐसी कुछ भी नहीं है। ऑब्वियसली अगर आप काम करते जाएंगे तो डिफिकल्टीज आएंगी, उसमें उससे आपको ओवरकम करना है, उसको एनालाइज करना है। यही सारी चीजें मैं भी फेस करता हूँ, मैंने भी फेस किया है। सिचुएशन बहुत ही ऐसी हमेशा पॉजिटिव नहीं रहती है, लेकिन एक बात तो है, देवजानी मैम ने जिस तरीके से बताया कि आप काम करते रहे, सिचुएशन अ डे विल कम, द सिचुएशन विल बी इन योर फेवर। लेकिन अगर आपने काम ही छोड़ दिया, आप काम ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, केवल भगवान के भरोसे बैठे, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई ऐसी भी कोई शक्ति होगी जो आपको बिना काम किए कुछ भी कर सके।
नहीं।
आप पावर लीजिए, वहां से पावर को एग्जीक्यूट करिए, तभी आपको सक्सेस मिलेगी। और मैं फिर से बताना चाहूंगा आपकी खबर के व्यूअर्स को कि हमारे जो पैनलिस्ट हैं, उनसे सुनिए, उनसे समझिए, उनको देखिए कितना उन्होंने काम किया, ऑलरेडी कर रहे हैं। मैम देवजानी मैम है, मोर देन 26 इयर्स उन्होंने काम किया है। इस स्टेज में आके आदमी सोचता है कि छोड़ो अब क्या करना है, मैंने तो सब कुछ, हाईएस्ट जो अचीवमेंट होता है वो कर लिया। लेकिन अभी पारोमिता मैम है, सारे लोग अभी भी लर्निंग में हैं और लोगों को लर्न करा रहे हैं, खुद भी सीख रहे हैं, काम भी कर रहे हैं। आप भी करिए, सक्सेस आपको भी मिलेगी। और ऐसे ही वीमेंस जो हैं, ट्वाइलाइट टॉक्स में जो वीमेंस आ रही हैं, वीमेन विद विंग्स, I would appreciate the steps taken by the Saif Sangal मैम, जिन्होंने एक ये प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया, उसमें ऐसे एक्सपीरियंस लोगों को जोड़ा आपने। आपको बहुत बहुत थैंक्स इसके लिए। आपकी खबर के व्यूअर्स जो हैं उनको बहुत थैंक्स, उनके सजेशन मेरे पास में आते हैं, उनके क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, और आप बहुत कुछ सीखिए, बहुत कुछ समझिए। और ऐसे पैनलिस्ट वीमेंस को आगे आना होगा, और उनके लिए तो पैनल आप लोगों ने बना दिया। मेरे ख्याल से मेंस के लिए भी कोई पैनल होना चाहिए, मैं देखता हूँ उनके लिए आगे आता है। लेकिन वीमेंस के लिए चलिए ठीक है, अबाउट 50% के लिए तो आपने कर दिया, अच्छी बात है। और ऐसे ही लोग, सारे लोग पॉजिटिविटी अगर नहीं करते रहें, काम करते रहें, तो अच्छा लगेगा। Very thanks to all of you, Devjani ma'am, Paromita ma'am, and especially thanks to Saif Sangal ma'am. and
बहुत
we
बहुत
will
शुक्रिया.
again connect on the next issue of Women with Wings, Twilight Talks, and other stories and possibilities, the stories of men's also. I'm waiting
Yes,
for the any organization who come forward to associate such type of things and motivate the peoples who are facing after the pandemic, and now the situation is overcome, anyhow overcome, and everything is possible if you keep it in your mind. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you,
thank you
Aapki
so
Khabar.
much, Devjani. Thank you, Aapki Khabar. Thank you, Rajiv ji. Thanks,
Thank you
Devjani.
so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Paramita, and bye bye, Rajiv ji. We'll see you
Bye
soon.
bye. See you soon. Thank you so much for this opportunity.